Hey guys, and welcome back once again to I Like Watches, and welcome to what I think is going to be a very exciting video, because today is the 1st of July, which means Seiko have finally released onto the market their SKX GMT, their stunning King Seiko dress watch, but also their latest Prospex Diver. This is the SPB313, and it is a reinterpretation of the 1968 to 1977 6105 8000 Turtle Diver. Oh man, I've been wearing it for a couple of hours and I can tell you it's pretty awesome. It is their slimmest Prospex Diver ever, and the dimensions make it incredibly wearable. I think it's probably the most comfortable Seiko Prospex Diver I've ever worn. Now, I've been lucky enough to get this watch from Ryan at Francis and Gaye nice and early on the day of launch, so that I can produce some content to show you this watch. And I learned something new recently. The Francis and Gaye store in Coventry is a salon, which means they get access to watches that not all Seiko ADs have. They are going to be getting the King Seiko watch, and they're going to be one of just a handful of stores in the UK that have access to that watch. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Awesome. But anyway, that's not the watch that's in front of me. This is the watch that I've got to show you today. I'm going to do something a little bit different in this video. It's not a proper unboxing and first impressions video. I'm going to give you quite a few facts, figures, stats and specifications about this watch. I'm then going to wear it fairly consistently over the next couple of weeks, and I'm then going to produce a sort of 2 weeks on the wrist review. I don't usually wear watches for 2 weeks non-stop because, well, I've got a lot of watches to review, so I tend to wear them on and off throughout the course of each day. But I really like this watch and it's definitely worth the time, and I, to be honest, just want to spend 2 weeks wearing it. So yeah, come back in a couple of weeks for like a proper 2 weeks on the wrist review. Yeah, if you are interested in this watch or any of their new releases, don't forget to head down to the video description where you will find a link to Francis and Gaye. It's not an affiliate link. They haven't paid me any money. This is not a sponsored video in any way whatsoever. They just send me watches like this to review for you guys, and I get to enjoy wearing them. Right, enjoy the video. Oh, nice. I was going to head over to the light box to do this bit, but my wife's just bought me a cup of tea, so I'm going to sit here and run through some of the additional information that I want to give you. Things like they have released 3 of these watches onto the market. The SPB313, 315 and 317. 2 of them come on stainless steel bracelets. One of them comes on a rubber strap. The one on the rubber strap, I think it's rubber anyway, is the more honest reinterpretation. I was struggling to pick the right word there. It's the one that looks the most like the original watch, but I was drawn towards this white dial version. The price now, £990 for this watch. That's about $1,100. I think it's being sold in the US for $1,100. Have a chat with Ryan if you're interested in any watches from Francis and Gaye. Email in the video description. I have seen on their website as well some sort of code you can use as a first-time buyer to get 10% off anything, I think. But yeah, £990. I know it's not the most affordable watch. 6R35 movement inside it though, so 28,800 beats per hour, 70-hour power reserve. A good mid-tier Seiko movement. Hacks, hand winds. You've got stainless steel, sapphire crystal with blue AR coating. You've also got 200 meters of water resistance. Obviously, it's ISO certified, 6425 certified diver. You've actually got the date window at the 4:30 position, and that is because Seiko wanted to keep the loom pip at the 3 o'clock to a full-size loom pip. You may have seen on some of their other reinterpretations that they've had the date at the 3 o'clock, but they've also put a little loom pip at the side. That has to be there at the 3 o'clock in order for the watch to gain the ISO 6425 certification. They didn't want to do that on this watch, and I think it's a fantastic decision. I love that little portal date window. It's just so awesome. You barely notice it, and the watch just has much better balance with that full-sized loom pip. Yeah, I think that's a fantastic decision. Loomy bright loom, and interestingly, the loom during the day, it's got this sort of baby blue colour, sort of duck egg blue. It's quite subtle at times, but sometimes it's really obvious. And I really like that. It goes so well with the white dial. And in fact, this combination of black bezel and white dial is really making me rethink the Cedo Diver. that I'm making with a partner. We were thinking of offering an all-white version with a white dial and a white bezel insert, but seeing this, it's making me think that actually a black bezel looks really good with a white dial. The bezel insert is aluminium. That's not ideal. I do tend to prefer ceramic. 120 click unidirectional bezel, and I'm just going to say it straight away, the alignment is perfect on everything. I've checked the applied indexes thoroughly and the bezel insert. I stupidly posted some pictures on my social media, sorry that's my chair squeaking, and I didn't line up the bezel properly, so of course everyone jumped on it straight away. Oh, misaligned bezel. Well, that was me. Honestly, if you're going to post pictures of a Seiko Prospex Diver, especially on its day of release, make sure you line up the bezel, surely. Oh, I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, I've retaken all those photos. Yeah, it's awesome. Right, let's give you some dimensions, I think. And I'm going to give you the case diameter to begin with. It's around, 41 millimeters. Nice. The bezel drops down to 39.5. Now, it is their slimmest Prospex Diver, and it is 12.3 millimeters thick. Case length is 46.4. Now, you do have male end links on the case, so let me give you that length as well. It is 51.1, but there is a decent amount of downturn on those end links, look. So, yeah, it remains very wearable. Drilled lugs as well look nice. Lug width is 20 millimeters. Very nice 5-link bracelet, tapers down to 18 millimeters. And not only have they made the case particularly thin, but they've actually made the links on the bracelet quite thin as well. They're normally 3 to 3.5 millimeters on dive watches, and these are 2.7 millimeters thick. Right, let's just confirm this sapphire crystal. There it is, and as you can see, it is domed. There is some distortion there when you hold the watch at a bit of an angle, and you can see, hopefully if I can get the right angle, there you go, look, see that blue hue covering the crystal? That is the internal AR coating. Now set up for my 7.25 inch-ish wrist, it weighs 145 grams. Now let's have a little fiddle with the bezel. 120 click unidirectional bezel, obviously it is a dive watch. Have a listen to this. Typical sort of Seiko greasy action, average to slightly higher than average resistance, decent grip with this bezel, some really coin edge machining. It's just plenty grippy enough. Now let's check out the alignment. Are you ready for this? Look at that. Oh, that's pretty good, isn't it? Let's do that one more time. You ready? Now, they have been promising us that they're going to sort out their alignment issues. Is this the start of the end of misalignment with bezels and dials and chapter rings? There's no chapter ring on this watch, on this dial, and the alignment with all the applied indices is spot on. But the bezel insert they could have quite easily got wrong, and here it is. There you go, look at that once again. Bang. Oh, nice. And let me just hold the watch there so that you can have a good look at the applied indexes, because I've studied them and I can't see any issues with the applied indexes either, lining up with the minute markers anyway on the outside of the dial. So alignment for me is bang on. Solid end links, solid links, really nice and interesting 5-link tapering bracelet, and I think they've done a pretty good job with these end links as well. I was chatting to Ryan earlier and I was just saying, sometimes Seiko don't seem to spend enough time on their end links, and they sometimes look like a bit of an afterthought. Although these aren't necessarily my favourite, I think they suit the watch pretty well, and actually they do look like they've been designed for the watch at least. I do really like this bracelet. It is push pin and collar, and it's got their super hard coating as well. The case and the bracelet, all the steel is coated, which is why it looks a bit darker than your standard sort of 316L stainless steel. The clasp shell as well, a little bit shorter than your traditional clasps. Look, you've still got the milled inner elements, which are, the standard length, but they've shortened the outer shell, which makes the clasp actually look, with the diver's extension, look a little bit more discreet, which I like. You see more of the links on the bracelet. And this clasp is nicely finished. You've got some high polished chamfered edges on the corners, look. which runs through to the diver's extension. Nicely signed. Here it is, milled in elements, and you've got the diver's extension here as well. Fairly standard. Pressed, if I can do it. Oh, there we go. Diver's extension. But it does the job, and well, it's not going to do the job for me because, well, I'll never take this watch diving, that's for sure. Right, while I'm here, let me show you the loom, and then I'm going to head back to the desk, and I'm going to just chat to you a little bit about why I think this watch is pretty special. Here is the loom, and there it is. Oh, hang on, no, one more. Yeah, it is loomy bright, and it looks pretty decent. It will compete in a loom degradation comparison video at some point on I Like Watches too, so yeah, we'll see it up against some pretty heavy hitters. Then we'll know whether or not it's any good. That's still warm. That didn't take too long, did it? Right, let's run through some of the strengths and weaknesses. I've not had this watch long at all, but I've still compiled a list already of what I consider to be the watch's strengths and weaknesses. Now, of course, this may change when I come back and do the 2 weeks on the wrist review. I may find it the most uncomfortable Prospex Diver I've ever worn. I don't think so, but you never know. So at this early stage, if you like, this is my first impressions, strengths and weaknesses. Brand and model history. Obviously, this is a reinterpretation of the 1968 6105 8000 that was produced for 9 years. It's one of their lesser known models. The 62 mass was produced first in 1965, I think. And then what we now know to be their turtle was produced basically after this. This was the watch that sat in between the 62 mass and their turtle that they started to produce in 1976, I believe. And I think it is one of their best looking watches. I'm surprised they've waited this long anyway to create this reinterpretation. But anyway, it's here now. And it's pretty awesome. It is, of course, an ISO 6425 certified diver. The steel, I've already mentioned it, is hardened with their super hard coating. I like the fact that it makes the steel look a little bit darker as well. It's definitely got a slightly different look to it. And, of course, it's going to protect the watch a little bit better. I like the fact that you've got the date at the 4:30 and you've got that little porthole sort of date window. That's pretty cool. The loom seems decent. I love the colour of the loom during the day. That sort of baby blue colour that you get on the dial just adds another dimension to this watch. I love it. And I love the way that the loom is sort of domed on the applied indices. Yeah, I think they've smashed it, to be perfectly honest. The alignment, it seems pretty perfect. I haven't even mentioned the hands. They're a sort of darkened steel, aren't they? A sort of gunmetal grey. Which is again a really interesting choice, but I like it. The dimensions, the weight, I think they are fantastic. It is super wearable. I like the bracelet. It's definitely something a bit different. Yeah, push pins, pin and collar, that's a bit of a pain, isn't it? And the fact that it's 12.3 millimeters thick is still amazing, actually. All right, it's not the slimmest dive watch you will ever see, but compared to most of their other Prospex, well, it's their slimmest watch, so compared to all of their other Prospex divers, obviously it is their slimmest. And I do consider it to be their most wearable. I love it. I think they've done a fantastic job, and I think this particular colour is the pick of the bunch for me. Yeah, really, really good. And I am looking forward to wearing this watch for the next 2 weeks, guys. So if you are interested in this watch and you want to see if any of my opinions and thoughts have changed on this watch after wearing it for a couple of weeks, then come back and yeah, check out that in-depth review. And of course, if you are interested in any watches from Francis and Gaye, please don't forget to email Ryan. I'm sure he's going to do everything he can to sort you guys out. Right, I'm going to leave it there, guys. I'm going to put this watch back on, go and pick up my little one in about half an hour and start to enjoy this watch. Take care, guys. Look after yourselves. You'll see me again very, very soon.